Well, hello, fellow philosopher. I am so glad you're here today. We're going to take a look at one of the hardest, but maybe one of the most important things that a human can do today. It's to stop fighting reality and be calm in a chaotic world. Do you ever wake up already tired? Your mind racing before your feet even hit the floor? Maybe you check your phone and your chest tightens. There's emails, deadlines, something someone said 3 days ago that you're still turning over in your mind. And the worst part? You can't point to one thing that's wrong. Objectively, life is fine, but you don't feel fine. You feel like you're bracing for something, always waiting for the other shoe to drop. But here's something fascinating. Long ago, before modern psychology existed, ancient philosophers were already warning people about this exact problem. And their solution wasn't what you'd expect. They didn't say, fix your life. They didn't say, think positive. They said something much stranger and much more useful. Most of us think anxiety comes from having too many problems, a stressful job, money pressure, relationship tension. But the ancients saw something different. They saw that suffering doesn't come from what happens to you. It comes from how you fight what happens to you. The Stoics had a phrase for this. Epictetus said it plainly. It's not the things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them. Two people can face the exact same situation. One falls apart. The other stays steady. The difference isn't the situation. It's the mind meeting the situation. Think about how true that is. You've seen it in your own life. Some days a small inconvenience ruins you. Other days, genuinely hard things happen, and somehow you handle it. The event didn't change, but your internal state did. The question is, how do I train my mind to stop fighting reality? Let me give you a concrete example. You send a text. There's no response. Your mind fills the silence immediately. Oh, they're angry. I said something wrong. Maybe they're pulling away. But here's what actually happened. You're not anxious about the silence. You're anxious about the uncertainty. Your brain treats uncertainty like a threat. It wants answers. So it manufactures stories, usually bad ones. The ancient skeptics understood this 2,000 years ago. They noticed that the desperate need for certainty creates more suffering than uncertainty itself. So they practiced something radical. They practiced saying, I don't know. Not as defeat, but as release. The moment you stop needing to figure out everything is the moment your mind softens. The mental warfare stops. Not because you got answers, but because you stop demanding them. Think about the last time you replayed a conversation over and over in your head. Did the replaying help? Did it give you peace? Or did it just deepen the groove? There's another layer to this. And this one is harder to see because our entire culture is built upon it. It's about desire. The Epicureans noticed that the more you need to be okay, the harder it is to be okay. Every new want becomes a new source of anxiety. The promotion you're chasing, the body you're working toward, the recognition you're hoping for. None of those things are bad. But when your peace depends on them, you've handed the keys to your calm to something outside of your control. Epicurus didn't live in a palace. He lived in a garden with his friends. They ate simple food. They talked. The reason wasn't that ambition is evil. It's that dependence is exhausting. Every time you attach your well-being to an outcome you cannot fully control, you create a new thing to worry about. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in Roman Empire, woke up every morning and reminded himself people would be difficult, chaotic, and ungrateful. Not because he was pessimistic, but because he was training himself to not need the world to cooperate for him to stay centered. Here's where it gets really practical. Knowing all this is one thing. Actually doing it when your heart is pounding and your mind is spinning is something else entirely. The Taoists had a metaphor. I think about it constantly. They said, muddy water is best cleaned by leaving it alone. The more you stir it, trying to fix it, the cloudier it gets. Your mind works exactly the same way. When you're anxious, your instinct is to fix, analyze, solve, plan, control. But every time you do, you stir the water more. You keep the cloudiness going. The Taoist approach is counterintuitive. It says, stop struggling. Don't stop caring. Stop forcing. Let the water settle on its own. I know how frustrating that sounds. When you're in the middle of it, doing nothing feels impossible. Your whole body is screaming at you to act. But try it. Next time your mind is spinning, don't chase the thoughts. Don't argue with them. Just let them be there. Watch them move through you like weather. You'll notice something strange. They pass. Not because you fixed anything, but because you stopped feeding them. Do you see the pattern here? The Stoics said control your interpretation, not your circumstances. The Epicurean said, want less, so you depend on less. The skeptic said, let go of the need for certainty. And the Taoist said, stop fighting the current and let clarity come. 4 different cultures separated by oceans and centuries all arrived at the same insight. Your suffering comes from psychological resistance, from demanding that reality be different than it is. Calmness isn't something you achieve by getting your life perfectly arranged. It's something you practice in the middle of a life that will never be perfectly arranged. That word practice matters. I'm not telling you to be perfectly calm tomorrow. I'm telling you to practice catching yourself just once when you start fighting reality and choosing just for that moment to stop. Now let's do a little experiment. After all, philosophy is just a bunch of words if you don't put it into practical use. I want you to think about something that's been weighing on you, something specific, a worry that keeps cycling back, an anxiety that has been sitting in your chest. Maybe choose a small one to start. Go ahead and pause the video if you need some time to figure it out, and take your time, because I'm going to take about a 10-second coffee break. Okay, great. You got it? I'm going to ask you 4 questions. 1 from each of the philosophies we talked about. The Stoic question. Is this thing you're worried about actually in your control? Or are you anxious about something that you can't change anyway? If it's outside your control, your anxiety is just pain with no purpose. The Epicurean question. Is your anxiety connected to wanting something, a specific outcome, a specific response from someone, a specific version of how things should go? Please don't misunderstand. It's fine to want something, but you can want it without needing it. The skeptic question. Are you demanding certainty where certainty isn't possible? Are you trying to know something that can't be known yet? Or maybe ever? The Taoist question. Are you stirring the water right now? Are you trying to fix, control, analyze, or force something that might actually settle on its own if you stopped? Okay, Let's get started with the experiment. Now that you have your worry firmly in your mind, sorry about that. I know it's unsettling to face it, but it's the only way through. For the next week, carry these 4 questions with you. When you feel that familiar tightness, that inner alarm going off, stop and ask yourself one of the questions. You don't need all 4, just one. The goal isn't to eliminate anxiety. That's not how humans work. The goal is to shorten the gap, the time between the trigger and when you catch yourself, between the spiral starting and you stepping back. Here's what I want you to take away from this. The ancient philosophers weren't calm because their lives were easy. They lived through war, exile, poverty, and loss. They were calm because they trained themselves differently. They trained themselves to see that peace isn't the absence of chaos. It's steadiness within chaos. It's not about building a life where nothing goes wrong. That life just doesn't exist. It's about building a mind that doesn't collapse when things go wrong. Seneca put it this way: we suffer more in our imagination than in reality. More from stories we tell ourselves about what might happen than from what actually happens. So the next time you feel that familiar tightness, remember, you don't need to fix everything. You don't need certainty. You don't need the world to cooperate. You just need to stop fighting long enough for the water to clear. Now, philosophy thrives in conversation and argument. Please add your comment below. Tell me what's one thing that's been weighing on you, or what one practice that helped you find your calm. I genuinely want to know. If you found this helpful, I would truly appreciate a gentle tap on the like and subscribe buttons. And remember, in all things and at all times, be a philosopher.